All right. So let me introduce you to our new Bureau of Labor Statistics head, E.J. Antoni. He went on, this was before Trump even fired the former head for giving him numbers that he didn't like. Uh, he went on with Steve Bannon to complain about the numbers and the fact that they don't have a friendly at the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
I want to talk about something you've been on here for 4 years complained about, and that is the Bureau of Labor Statistics and whether we get accurate numbers. Now, everybody's talking about the number here. It's 250,000 jobs. They're like on the downside. It turns out we didn't get, and now it's a restatement. What in the hell's going on there? And have we put in our own person into BLS? Is a MAGA Republican that President Trump knows and trusts? Are they running the Bureau of Labor Statistics yet, sir?
No, unfortunately, Steve, we still haven't gotten there. And I think that's part of the reason why we continue to have all of these different data problems. You know, the guy we had previously, Bill Beach, is actually a great guy, brilliant statistician, and he recognized some of the problems that we had in the data. He was taking steps to fix that. But unfortunately, he was removed by the Biden administration. He's not there anymore.
Okay. Make note of his background. That's going to come up later. Okay. The implications of that are pretty terrifying. Do we have a MAGA person in at the Bureau of Labor Statistics? Now, in theory, that should not matter. You can't even really blame, I would be the first to say, well, it's not like they don't have technocratic experts in under a president like Obama and then go and destroy the lives of homeowners while letting the bankers skate. But that has nothing to do with the statistics. That's their political policy. Right. That's what they choose to do with the numbers. Up until now, literally up until this appointment, it's always been understood that you just have to have a technocrat who's capable and competent in that role. Now, could you argue that maybe there are flaws in the system with how they gather data? Maybe, but that's not what this is about. This is Trump did not like the jobs number and decided to go full banana republic and install somebody whose numbers he's going to like, somebody who's ideological rather than technocratic, which has a lot of implications in terms of how credit rating agencies evaluate the United States going forward, how foreign countries doing trade and deals with us regard the numbers going forward. As you will see, he could not have picked a bigger clown for this job. If you really want everyone not to trust you and to assume that you fired the last person for political reasons, this has nothing to do with updating the way the BLS operates. You couldn't do better than this guy. So here is his customary announcement via Truth Social. That's how he likes to announce appointments and everything else. I am pleased to announce that I am nominating highly respected economist. Not true at all. At all. He's kind of the Thomas Friedman of economists, as we will see. Dr. E.J. Antoni as the next commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Our economy is booming, and E.J. will ensure that the numbers released are honest and accurate. I know E.J. Antoni will do an incredible job in his new role.
Oh,
Congratulations, yeah. EJ. If you consider his new role being to fillet Trump on a regular basis, then yeah, a guy looks like he has a good deep mouth for that. Trump picks EJ Antoni as new Bureau Labor Statistics head after firing old commissioner amid weak jobs report. This is from CBS News. President Trump announced E.J. Antoni as his nominee to lead the Bureau of Labor Statistics on Monday after he fired the former commissioner earlier this month, blaming her for a weaker than expected jobs report. Antoni is a fellow at the Conservative Heritage Foundation think tank, and he holds a doctorate in economics from Northern Illinois University. Ah, that famous breeding ground of great economists. He's defended Mr. Trump's economic policy moves in the past, including the president's tariff strategy. He has also criticized the BLS for low response rates and questioned the agency's methodology, calling its health insurance figures phony baloney last year, and at one point joking that the L is silent in BLS's name. Quote, Doge needs to take a chainsaw to the BLS, he wrote in a November post on X. Quote, there are better ways to collect, process, and disseminate data. That is the task for the next BLS commissioner, and only consistent delivery of accurate data in a timely manner will rebuild the trust that has been lost over the last several years, he wrote shortly after Mr. Trump fired the former BLS chief. See, that's how you get a job. Antoni will need to be confirmed by the Senate. Well, with this crew, his confirmation is almost assured. All right, this is Richard Hanania. How shallow is the MAGA talent pool? E.J. Antoni, who is going to be collecting labor statistics, went to an economics program that doesn't rank within the top 100. He appears to have published one article with one citation. His predecessor had over 1,300 citations. A little bit here about the program he went to. Northern Illinois University is not considered a top-ranked economics program in the U.S., especially compared to the major research universities that dominate economics rankings. Here's a breakdown of its standing. National reputation. NIU's economics department is generally seen as a regional, teaching-focused program rather than a research powerhouse. It's not ranked among the top 50 or even top 100 in most U.S. News or REPEC Global Research Impact lists. All right, so listen, man, far be it from me to say that you can't get a talented person who comes out of a program like that, or, maybe they came up from under, they didn't have those opportunities. That's not this guy. That's not this guy. If that were this guy, he'd have published a lot of papers. He'd have done some brilliant research. No, this is a very unaccomplished person who's just been put in charge of a very complicated agency for political reasons exclusively. This is Justin Wolfers. He has a pretty popular economics podcast. Let's focus on qualifications. Antoni finished grad school 5 years ago at Northern Illinois with no obvious distinction. His dissertation is meh and involved no research on labor markets or data collection. He has never published a paper, and his life's work has earned one citation. This record would be insufficient to earn a job as a junior staffer at BLS. Well, that's if you're hiring people for their qualifications, other than sucking Trump's dick. So I mentioned Thomas Friedman. It's pretty funny because as I researched this guy, I found that for conservative economists, yes, conservative economists, he's like their Thomas Friedman. What Thomas Friedman is for Matt Taibbi, that's what Antoni is for conservative economists. He posts these just asinine things, and they just love to rip him apart for being as completely ignorant, unqualified, and bad at his job as he is. So let's look at a few examples. So he posted, despite disappointing headline, this is before Trump decided the numbers aren't really the numbers. The marching orders were still to put a good face on the jobs report numbers. Despite disappointing headline, this jobs report was best July ever for employment among native-born Americans, up 2 million year over year, and annual growth 2.2 million faster than among foreign-born workers. Native-born American employment is now 1.8 million above pre-pandemic level. So that's almost entirely completely wrong, according to multiple sources. Here's just one of them, Joel Griffith. The native-born unemployment rate rose for the third straight month in July and is now at the highest level since April 2021. Although the number of those employed is up this year, 2.47 million, the reported native-born working age population rose by a far greater 3.94 million. So if you follow that and think through the implications of having a guy like this as the person who's handing out the economic reports for the government, not good. Believe me, not good. You understand what he did? He basically didn't account for the growth in the population and just went ahead and said, oh yeah, no, we're having great employment growth, not accounting for the fact that you're dealing with a large population. I'm not even a math guy, and I get that. This guy is supposed to be an economist. Wow. And hey, man, this guy's a senior fellow at a right-wing think tank, American Freedom Institute, I think it is. He's also at the Heritage Foundation, as is Antoni. Yeah, man, right, free market economist. Yeah, conservative
Israeli
guy.
flag in bio.
Yep, Daily Signal, right? So conservative guy. Here's Joey Politano. He's not so political, this guy. He has like an economics blog that focuses on statistics. An economist so dumb, I had to explain to him how the import price index works last month will now lead the BLS. Kill me. All right, so Antoni tweeted this out about how prices are not going up. Import prices just came in way below expectations. June was up from just 0.1% month over month, negative 0.2% year over year, while May saw a huge downward revision from flat to 0.4% month over month, still waiting for tariffs to be passed on by foreign producers. And Politano points out to him, the import price index measure pre-tariff prices. The fact that pre-tariff prices are basically flat means Americans are paying the tariffs. Though I wouldn't expect a Heritage Foundation guy like yourself to be smart enough to understand basic stuff like that. Okay? So you understand, like, he's completely misinterpreting what these numbers even represent. The fact that these are flat, but these tariffs are being collected, means they're not paying them. We're paying them. This is your new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Jessica Rydell. I've never met E.J. Antoni because he is not seen in many D.C. policy circles. However, the articles and tweets I've seen him publish are probably the most error-filled of any think tank economist right now. I hope we see better at BLS. Is she some lefty? Nope. Manhattan Institute fellow. Manhattan Institute. These guys worship Ayn Rand. She's no left-wing economist by any means. So yeah, and one last one. This guy's just a professor. Since E.J. Antoni is now Trump's nominee to head the Bureau of Labor Statistics, I wanted to flash back to that time when I, a nobody professor in Vermont, had to explain to him some very basic facts about labor statistics. This guy is a joke. And here you have the classic Batman meme. This was tweeted out by Antoni. How can the economy be bad when jobs are growing so fast? Slap. Because everyone has two of them. So he's saying the job growth is not that more people are getting jobs, it's that more people have two jobs. So Professor Winslet here tweeted back, this is factually wrong. The percentage of people with two jobs is down. And also the most likely people to have two jobs are people with postgraduate degrees. And he provides, unlike Antoni, who provided a Batman meme, he actually provided numbers, charts. statistics. You know, we don't think about this, but we just saw it actually in the profile of one of the economists that responded to him. A lot of the people who have more opportunities take those opportunities. They're on this board, they're on that board. That counts as more than one job. Like, we don't think of it that way because it's a very privileged kind of jobs, but it is multiple jobs. If you're on the board here, you're at a think tank there. Yeah, so I would imagine that's why you get that number. Um, okay, so I just want to take a look at a couple of Democrat-aligned economists because I do want to make the point of how they have conducted themselves over the years. So you know, Brendan Duke, he was a Kamala Biden administration economist. Antoni has distinguished himself with his lack of shame in producing viral, dishonest analyses that have been criticized by honest conservative analysts. If he brings that lack of shame to the production of official economic statistics, their reliability could be in question. Well, thank you, Captain Obvious. And Jason Furman, he was an Obama era economist. I don't think I have ever publicly criticized any presidential nominee before, but E.J. Antoni is completely unqualified to be BLS commissioner. He is an extreme partisan and does not have any relevant expertise. He would be a break from decades of nonpartisan technocrats. Okay, now that's true as far as it goes, but you motherfuckers need to have all the seats because the reason that a guy was elected who could even make the argument that someone who so clearly is an unqualified political partisan couldn't do any worse is because of what your crew did with your technocratic information. Did you use it to help people? Did you do good for people? This ProPublica back in 2011, this article came out. Dems, Obama broke pledge to force banks to help homeowners. Candidate Obama pledged to support real change in bankruptcy laws to help foundering homeowners. But when it came time to fight for the measure, he didn't show up. Some Democrats now say his administration actually undermined it behind the scenes. And this is where this comes from. People are always talking about, we have a lot of people who actually have podcasts who talk about how they lost the House under Obama. What did he do with the bankers? They skated. There was a great article, I think it was the Times when he first got in office, about how the bankers went into the Oval Office all nervous, all scared, and then they walked out laughing. He asked them, "What do you guys need?" So you wanna now beat your breast about the fact that a completely unqualified goon is being installed at the Bureau of Labor Statistics? Well, it's your fucking fault. This whole thing is your fault. The fact that this guy is the president is your fault. This is the reason people don't trust experts anymore. That's not an argument for, well, it doesn't matter who's at the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I don't believe that, but you made people feel that way because you know what? You showed it doesn't matter for them. You might as well just have a political partisan if this is what you're going to do with the accurate numbers. No matter who's in charge, they get fucked. So what do they care? That's why this hysteria around appointing an unqualified political hack is not going to play beyond the libs, man. Yeah, they're going to watch Rachel Maddow and they're going to cry about it. Most people aren't going to care because you gave them no reason to care. There was a time when Republican, Democrat, no matter who it was, would have agreed you have to trust the experts. I was very young, but I remember that. I remember when people said, well, hey, this guy has degrees and this is what he says. And even a conservative usually would have deferred to that. Not anymore because of you, because you people told them that NAFTA was going to create better jobs, because you told them there were WMDs in Iraq. You all voted to go invade this country that wound up not having any of those weapons. This is why nobody trusts you. You forced a jab on people that it turns out was very questionable. You put all that together, and honestly, that was the final straw for a lot of people, I think. Nobody trusts the expert, so you can't make an argument based on expertise anymore. Like, you're not wrong, but take responsibility. You caused it. You got us to a world where nobody cares about a guy like this being in charge of the government's numbers. And what did he do before he's even gotten confirmed in the Senate? He goes on Fox. Antoni suggests suspending monthly jobs report. Full banana republic from Alliant Capital. Absolutely. Now, I told you to look at that background on Steve Bannon because apparently he changed it. Capital Hunters. Can we ask why Trump's new hire for the Bureau of Labor Statistics recorded a podcast promoting Project 2025 in front of a picture of a Nazi warship? Brian Tyler Cohen flagged the podcast but missed the Bismarck. Is any reporter going to cover actual Nazis in our government? And he did a whole tweet storm about this. EJ Antoni's Bismarck poster is out of stock at Amazon right now. I guess now it's hot.
Caught on.
Too bad for other applicants for economics positions in Trump's government. Maybe they could use a swastika instead when they apply. And this won the internet, I think. Fed speak. EJ Antoni looks like a magician who is about to underwhelm the shit out of you.
Yeah, he does kind of look like one. He does have this sort of like old-fashioned showman look about him. Like in the Seinfeld episode, what was it? The Karamazov brothers who take the Friars Club jacket. He looks like he could have been one of those guys, only with shorter hair.
Yeah, he should be selling Dr. Antoni's Miracle Tonic.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
From the back of a wagon. And that's pretty much about the size of it. It's the worst case scenario. You literally installed a complete crackpot, incompetent, laughingstock guy who is going to feed the public these very biased, slanted numbers because, hey, you're not going to be able to get competent, qualified people who care about their reputations to be the one who took over the Bureau of Labor Statistics from the one who got fired for giving the numbers. And it was numbers that the dear leader didn't like. Nobody with a reputation to protect is going to do that. That's why fascists always wind up surrounded by this collection of incompetent clowns. You look into the background of the high command of the Nazi party, the people who surrounded Hitler, other than Goering, they were all losers. They were all losers. They were all failures. They were all laughing stocks. They were all social misfits. Because those are the people who are going to be attracted to working under something like that and doing what they're told to do by somebody like that. People who actually have a reputation to protect, they're not going to take that job. This guy's a laughing stock in the industry. He's a laughing stock among economists. That's the only kind of person who's going to agree to do this. He doesn't have a reputation to compromise.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that's why, yes, a lot of these cabinets just get fleshed out with just absolute clowns from top to bottom. That's what this cabinet is, Trump's cabinet, from top to bottom, just one joke after another. But the good news is you're going to have a very good August jobs report. You're going to have 11,000 million billion
jobs. It's going to be the biggest jobs report ever
created in the month of August. So you can all look forward to that.
Please clap.